Alright.
Yeah, I think Luke did that one.
Is that why the quality was so bad?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Mine is better quality. I have some of him. Okay, let's welcome our speaker, Chris.
Yay!
Are you guys too hot? Do you want a water or anything? You good? Okay. Do you want air conditioning now?
Air conditioning.
Are you guys hot? Okay.
You get sponge bath.
Throw it out there.
What's that?
My name is Chris and I'm an alcoholic.
Hello, Chris.
It's funny, I wasn't supposed to speak tonight.
Right.
I was supposed to speak a couple weeks ago and then my dog died actually.
Whoa!
Yeah, I was on my way here and then my wife was like, your dog's dying, and I was like, no, he'll be fine, I gotta go speak at the meeting, and then she said, no, we gotta take him to the vet. It turned out he was really sick. So Luke roped me into speaking tonight, but I don't know, I'm glad to be here. I forgot I was speaking. I was like zoning out on my phone because this is the only meeting where I feel comfortable to like not pay attention. That was supposed to be
Oh,
fun.
you like literally forgot while you were here.
I was in the zone.
Hi, Leah. I just turned it on. Yeah, sorry.
Can you sit down?
No, go in. Take your top off.
You
Like,
were
cool
in a
as foot.
It's cold outside. I know it's cold outside. I put jeans on, but it's fucking hot.
It's hot in here.
It is hot. Which is
It's cold outside.
Yeah, I know, man. Hey, in all sincerity, like, I have a lot of respect for this meeting. I've known a lot of people who it's helped. It was my brother's home group, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm always glad to participate in Alcoholics Anonymous. But I think, you know, it's bittersweet. I don't know, I guess, what do I share, 15 or 20?
Hour.
No, it's not an hour.
20 minutes.
Alright.
Yeah. Like 12, 15. Sure, on a roll. Keep going.
It's like fire and brimstone AA.
Yeah.
In a general way, I mean, I guess I'll share what it was like, what happened, and what I'm
No.
like now.
To
No?
specific details, demoralization, embarrassing moments.
Of the molestation?
Molestation.
No.
In
I don't
detail.
want to hear about that.
All right, you
shit,
can
Jenner.
skip the molestation
All
to
right.
the embarrassation. The station of
That's pretty
embarrassment.
bad.
Shameful moments.
You know, the bottom line is like,
Tell about your banished
judge.
wait, which
That's
history?
Rosa.
Which history?
You and Ron ever tag team, bro? I want to hear about that.
Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you want to see a picture of him when he's little? I took a picture of your family portrait. The
Oh,
one next to
man.
Ryan's room?
Was that when you got robbed for the toaster oven?
No. That motherfucker tried
Let's
to
hear
pull
about
off in
that.
behind.
These are all stories. These are all my
Change.
brothers. You know, hey, I almost came in here and did my brother's pitch. It's a joke. No, I grew up in Hancock Park. I'm the youngest of three, and
$500 for Denny's.
hey, Sean. All right, sit down. We can get started now. All right.
All right.
You have to read all the readings, though, right?
Or take off your shirt.
Yeah, you could do that. Or pants.
Yeah. All of it.
The bottom, you know, the way I describe my upbringing is I didn't have the worst life and I didn't have the best life. I didn't want for much, but there were a lot of areas where the family fell short. And none of that really matters because for the majority of my using career, I blamed everyone. Like I blamed all of my problems on external things that happened. Like, you know, my dad had rage issues and like hit me. Like that's why I drink the way I do. Or like my brother hooked up with my girlfriend while I was asleep in the bed with both of them. Like
Yeah, of course.
that's why I get high. You know, like.
I found a picture of his thing on my fucking iCloud
That's terrible.
from your mom's house
Whoa.
that he had on her screensaver.
What?
No, it wasn't on her screen. It was just saved to the desktop.
Yeah, it
On
was,
your
it
mom's
was all the pictures
computer.
are in rotation, and it'd be his dick.
Hey, well, so this gives you an idea of what kind of environment I grew up in. It was like depraved, and and even like birth order. Like I'd love to like blame my alcoholism on that. Like because I basically grew up on scraps of like love. Like,
Well, you look like your mom.
but the truth is like I don't respond normally to drugs and alcohol. Like I just don't. Like I don't know what it is. Like, well, I guess like my whole family's a bunch of like rednecks that have alcohol problems, but that's beside the point. Like you put alcohol in me and it's not good. Simply put, like the first time I ever got drunk, like I blacked out. I think I got beat up. I tried to hook up with like someone else's girlfriend.
Right.
I got sick, and the next day I was like, that was the greatest gift I've ever received from the universe. Like I honestly like thought I had found my calling, cause like, and I feel like I need to preface this, even though I don't, but like I take what the big book says really seriously when it talks about the state of an alcoholic as restless, irritable, and discontent, cause I related to that when I read it. Like that's how I am in a resting state. Like if I'm not trying to enlarge my spiritual life, if I'm not trying to help somebody, like I'm a fucking asshole. And I tend to only think of myself. And I didn't know what that was, but like I can tell you that like I was horribly terrified as a kid. Like there was a lot of abuse in the house, but it was also just fear that was present. And I was anxious. Like I used to do like weird shit. Like I would like chew my shirt when I was like 5 and 6, and like come home and the shirt would be like chewed up because I was so fearful. I just would like, you know, like I was like a nail biter, like all that shit. And then you give me alcohol, and for the first time in my life, I could like breathe. Like it was as if. In Greek mythology, there's that character of Atlas who carries the world on his back. Like I felt like that dude, and then someone like was like, "Hey, let me help you with that. Like, take a break. You deserve it." And the problem was that the minute the effects wore off, I was back in reality. I was back in my body. I was back in this skin I couldn't comfortably live in. And I pursued it, you know? Like I realized pretty quick that like the drunker and higher I get, the less I have to deal with reality. And I never thought there was anything wrong with the way I was drinking. And I systematically altered my life to revolve around drugs and alcohol. And what I mean by that is like I just stopped trying at anything and would make excuses to not do it. Like I'll give you an example. Like I was like really into visual art. Like I got accepted to like one of the best art schools in the US. And then like I fucking didn't like finish my portfolio and told the teacher and like the college counselor, like, you know what, man? Like no one's gonna tell me what to create. Like I'm a fucking artist.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to that school. Like you don't know who I am. And like really it was like I didn't want to like leave home because I could like get high there. Yeah, really. I mean I had it good. Until my parents went to Al-Anon.
All right.
They're hardcore.
That's another. Oh, maybe I'll tell that story too. Like I said, like I squandered opportunities, and I somehow managed to make it to college, and that lasted a very short period of time. And I found myself back in Los Angeles, like with no good ideas left. Like I remember I'd been kicked out of the house I grew up in because my parents had already figured out that like addiction, like my family was so crazy. Like my parents came into my bedroom one time and my brother and I were asleep in there, and my mom's like, "Whose crack pipe is this?"
Oh no!
And,
Poor
and,
James.
the craziest part is Robert blames me. He's like, Mom, like Christopher's got a real problem. and then I was like, Mom, Robert relapsed again. And and that was like normal. So I like weaseled my way back home, and my parents were like, "All right, like, you just have to get a job. Like, that's all you have to do if you want to live here." And I was like, "Okay." And I had an aunt at the time who was like a branch manager at B of A, or like a president. Like she like some like banking, like she was in the hierarchy. Like she was like not like a teller. You know, she might have had like her own desk. You know, so they tell me my fucking like mommy and daddy are like, "Hey, all you have to do is show up at this interview, and it's in the bag. Like, just show up. That's all you have to do." So it's the night before, and I'm like, all right, like tonight I'm gonna be really responsible. and this was like probably like 14 years ago, and you could still cop in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, or Orange and fucking Hayworth or Hawthorne. And so it's like, it's like midnight and I got to be up at like 7 and get to downtown LA and I'm like smoking crack and I'm like, all right. And like I wasn't like a smart crack smoker either. Like I was a dude that would go with $20.
Oh no.
And like buy like 2 rocks and then I'd smoke them by the time I got home and then I'd be like, like and get back in the car, or if I didn't have a car, like a skateboard, and like if I didn't have that, I'd walk. But so it's like midnight, and I'm smoking crack, and I'm like really like on a good one, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go back one more time.
I'm just
like,
going to the bathhouse.
I'm like, I'm just gonna go back one more time, and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm smoking crack, and then it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh man, this is getting pretty intense. And then before I know it, the sun's up.
Fuck.
And I haven't slept, and I'm so fucking cracked out. And I also I really liked Klonopin a lot, so I took a handful of those to like take the edge off. And I go to this interview, and
Train spotting in Hancock Park.
and I fucking I lost consciousness in the interview. And I don't mean like I fell asleep. Like I fell out. And I wake up and this woman is shaking me like, "Mr. Paulson, like, are you like Mr. Paulson?" And I was so far gone that I got up and went and did the interview. And I didn't get the job.
But you showed up.
Here's the craziest part. When I got sober, I was so far gone that on my 4th step I had Bank of America written. The cause didn't hire me. Affects my ambitions. Yeah.
Oh,
dare it was just like pathetic. So
did you have to do an amends to them?
No, I didn't harm them. I don't think.
Traumatized.
Yeah.
Workers.
I've continued banking with them despite the fact that they're like the worst bank in the world.
It's like a living amends. Yeah.
Yeah. I pay my late fees.
Oh, that's good.
My finance charges on my credit card.
Oh yeah, they're evil. You can quit them now.
But like the long and the short of it is I got kicked out again, and my whole family, like my parents have 3 kids, and my oldest brother Jay is like a horrible alcoholic, like as bad as they get. Like he was more of like the periodic where he would like drink and become a monster for like 4 days and then sober up, and he'd always have a plan. He'd be like, I remember one time he said, "Hey, I'm doing this really cool thing where you can drink 14 drinks a week." So no. So yeah, so you can drink 2 drinks a day, or you can save it all up till Saturday and drink 14. And he like thought he had it figured out. And then my brother Robert, he'd been going in and out like since I was in like high school, like like jail, treatment, like all of this shit, and he never really got it. And then I just like I got kicked out of the house, and I had enough knowledge in my head about like recovery, but I didn't understand what was wrong with me. Like, I knew that there were programs, I knew that there was help, but I had no idea how to access it. So instead of accepting help, I moved into a tool shed off Pico and Alvarado.
Yes. Yes.
Like, that was like my best thinking. And this place was like fucking. It was actually kind of pimp. Like, there was like foam on the floor.
Yeah.
And then there was like a file cabinet that you could like put stuff in, and they had a TV that got 3 channels, including but not limited to PBS.
Yes.
And there was no bathroom, but you never had to shit if you're strung out on heroin, so it was kind of fine. So I was staying there with this at the time I considered him like a pretty like aged junkie, and that was like as low of a companion as I could find.
Oh.
And
Alan's free now.
And it was like it was just bad. Simply put, I was strung out on heroin and pills and fucking crack and meth and anything. And I quit drinking before I quit using drugs. The last time I drank alcohol was July 4th because I was like shitting blood. But side note. But I'll never forget. I got an opportunity to get help, and I'm sitting in this like shooting gallery, and I'm telling this guy who I thought was like the lowest of the low. I'm saying, man, like, can you believe it? Like, these people want me to go get help. Like, ha ha ha. And it's like I tell this story every time I share, but it was like the hand of God truth. Like, a clarity came over this guy's eyes, and he just said, "You need help. Like, go get help." And coming from him at that moment, and who I thought he was, telling me that I needed help, it resonated. And I can actually tell the full story in here. I'd been up north in like Santa Barbara cooking crack for some people, and this guy got a taste
You didn't
for
know how to
it.
cook crack?
No.
Really?
I cook it so well.
It's fucking baking soda and water.
Yeah,
bro.
but there's ways you can spice it
Oh
up.
my
Yeah,
God.
and there was love in it. I'm sure. you
Well,
put
love is the
love.
secret
It's not
ingredient.
like fucking
No, but the
reaching
truth
Sudafed,
is,
bro. It's
the
fucking baking soda.
so-
and
Don't take
Coke.
away
So
his
this
pride.
guy, this guy hits me up, and I'm contemplating getting help, and this guy hits me up and says, "Hey, I got a couple $100. If you just like meet me, I will smoke all of it with you."
That's right.
And but it was so weird. So we went and picked up like a couple $100 worth of crack, and we parked like a block away from my parents' house and just smoked so much crack. And no one, I don't know if anyone in here can relate to this, but like I smoked so much cocaine that I like smoked myself like sane.
Yeah.
Like I smoked myself into a moment of clarity. And I showed up at my fucking parents' house and said, "All right, like let's go." But I had 300 pills of Klonopin with me.
Oh, okay.
So I got there and I went into a blackout shortly thereafter. And then I woke up, and then the long and the short of it is I woke up halfway across the country in a hospital with no recollection of how I got there. Now the story I was told is that I started eating the pills, and when I passed out, my father threw them away or flushed them down the toilet. And then when he told me that he flushed them down the toilet, I attempted to murder him. And then the police got involved.
Whoa.
And I got like whatever they do in other states, like involuntary hospitalization. And that's where it started for me. How am I doing on time?
Time, keep going. I have a lot of questions.
So
Buddy
you-
has questions.
I have a question. Yeah, so did you almost kill him in another state? I don't
Yeah,
understand. Oh.
yeah,
Oh, he's transporting you?
yeah. But I don't. Yeah.
Did he know better not to say he flushed? Like, did he just say, "I'll have him just set aside for you. I'll give him to you later"?
I don't know. He was pissed because
Oh.
I'd already ruined another family event
Oh.
a couple months earlier. It was a funeral I ruined.
Oh, what did you? Oh, let's hear that story.
Let's hear about the funeral. you
Guys, so
ruined.
my grandma. It's really sad. My grandma had a stroke and was in the hospital.
Oh.
And then I didn't go and visit her. Like, she was dying, and I chose to like get high instead of visit her. So then we went to Kansas City. Robert was in jail, but my brother Jay and I made it to Kansas City, and we started drinking at 9 a.m. and we drank all day and popped pills, and then we got kicked out of a bar at about 2 a.m. and we were driving home with our cousins, and my brother Jay slapped me, and I had this thing because I'm the youngest where I had this thing where I had to beat up every male in my family. Like that was like my goal, like to be the alpha. Like, so I beat up Robert really bad because he was like 110 pounds and I could like whoop him, especially when he's strung out. He's like a joke.
Yeah.
So Jay slapped me. And I was like so abused that I just socked him in the face. And before I knew it, we were like having like a full blown brawl in the backseat of a Honda Element. So our cousins pull us out of the
At least
car.
you had a lot of room.
And then we're in a gas station beating the fuck out of each other. And he bit my finger down to the bone, and then I basically put him in the hospital. Like I beat his ass. Like it was like one of the greatest moments of my life. and then I ran when the cops came. I just booked it. So our whole family winds up like hearing about this, and there were a lot of witnesses. And then the next day there's the funeral, and like I'm bleeding out of my eye, and he's bleeding out of like every other orifice, including his. Yeah.
You punched him in the butt.
No, I don't know if he was. I was gonna say his urethra, but I'm not sure.
Ah, okay. Punched him in the teeth.
No, but the sad thing is that next day I found myself locked in a bathroom drinking beers. Like literally, like I stole a 6-pack from the reception or the bar and was just locked in a room drinking. And my own brother says, he goes, "What's wrong with you?" He goes, "You never drink after you get in trouble for drinking. That's going to let them know that you have a problem." like
that's the same guy who does the 14-day.
No, exactly. No, he goes, and if you're going to do it, you don't do it in front of anybody. He goes, haven't I taught you anything? It's like Robert, like, he'd be like, look, he goes, if you're going to smoke crack, you can't do it until after 4 a.m.
That's right.
He goes, because if you do it before, you're going to ruin your day.
Start your day with crack.
Yeah, you never start your day with crack. You never start your day with crack.
No.
If you do, the day's gone.
After 4 a.m. though. Well, if you start it.
No, it's a nightcap.
It's a night.
Oh, okay.
That usually carries on for a few days. It's like Robert too. He's like, you never do dope for more than like a couple of days, otherwise you're gonna get a habit.
And you're gonna get some taco.
But like I wound up in this hospital room and I couldn't leave. Like I tried to, and then I got sedated, and then I tried to again. They like put me on like heavy duty meds, and it was like the first time in my life, and I've been arrested and I've been to jail and I've been to like court-ordered programs and court-ordered AA, but it was the first time in my life that I truly had lost the power of choice. And what I mean is like I said before, like I blamed everyone in all of my circumstances. Like I thought the conditions of my upbringing and my life were what caused all of the problems, when really it was this much deeper issue and this soul sickness. And it was the first time in my life where there was no one left to blame. Like there wasn't a girlfriend. Like the girlfriend was gone. Like I was not, like no one wanted anything to do with me. And the family was gone. I couldn't say like, oh, mom and dad, and like the brother was gone. Like Robert's in jail. Jay's being a weirdo. Like you get it.
Ginger.
Like there was no one left to assign blame to except myself. And I had this realization that the sum of my life has led me to this point. Like every action I have taken has brought me to this position of complete powerlessness, and it was reinforced by the fact that I was in a hospital that I could not leave. And you know, the unfortunate circumstance was I was really sick. Like really sick. Like I weighed 126 pounds. I'm like $180 right now. And I had like a really severe detox to go through. And my mind wasn't right. So I got transferred to like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I got sent to this place in Florida that was like primarily psych, and I probably needed it. But when I had like 3 or 4 months sober and the voices went away, and like my neighbors talking to like the dead body next to him that's not really there, and I'm telling the doctor like, let me out of here, I don't need to be here, and he's saying like, oh, you just need more meds. Like that kind of sucked. But what happened was the one thing that program did right for me was they went to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. And I came to rooms like this one, probably not at midnight, but I came to rooms like this and I saw people who had something that I so clearly lacked. And what I mean is like, you know, like the laughter, like this meeting I don't think it has one, but it can get a bad rap. But like what's happening in this room in particular is like the magic of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, like the idea that we are not a glum lot. You know, that we're able to laugh about these seemingly tragic events that we emphasized and identified with for so long. Like I came to rooms like this and I saw people who had a solution. And again, it was like a God shot or whatever you want to call it. Like I asked somebody, like, how is it that you're laughing? Like, how is it that you're experiencing joy? And he said, and you know, he gave that kind of lame sponsor, like, oh, well, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Like, and at that point in my life, I was, because I didn't share about it before, but I've also struggled with depression most of my life. And prior to coming to AA, I had 2 really serious suicide attempts. And I found myself sober, or I should say abstinent, and still wanting to die. And I couldn't understand. I had like 4 months, and I looked in the mirror and I hated who I saw, and I hated who I'd become, and I hated the things I had done and the people I had hurt. And I reached out for help, and I went through the work. And if there's like one thing to convey, it's that Alcoholics Anonymous is a 12-step program. The program is in the steps. If you're not in the steps, if you're not in the work, then it's like, I mean, I'm glad you're here, but at the same time, like, what are you doing here? You know, like, the steps are a vehicle for change. And, you know, I went through the doctor's opinion, and I read this dated document, this dated text about like this allergy of the body and this obsession of the mind and phenomenon of craving, and I identified with it, and like I heard myself in those pages, and you know, I mean, that's where it took root, you know, and I normally I'd probably talk more about the steps, but in short, it's like I recognize the problem and a lack of power, and if that's my dilemma, then I have to come in contact with something bigger than myself. And I can't tell anyone in this room what that is. I just believe that there's some kind of force or like something working out there. And if I'm going to believe that or have the willingness to believe that, then I'm going to turn and I'm going to turn my will and my life over to that. Then all that looks like is just doing the rest of the work. You know? It's taking stock of my life. It's sharing my you know, deep dark secrets. Like, it was so funny when I did my first 4-step. I finished it, and my sponsor was like, "Okay, go meditate, and we'll reconvene in an hour." And he's like, "Oh, and by the way, if there's anything you left off of it, you're gonna relapse." And then he shuts the door. So an hour later, he comes back and he's like, "Anything else?" And I'm like, like, you know, just like spouting off just every like thing. Like, the boy in the neighborhood touched me. Like, you know, like, it's so fun. And the irony is that he, like, laughed. He's like, that's it. Like, you know, that's the beauty of it. That's the connection. That's what we experience here. We move from a position of isolation to a position of connection, where we get to recognize that my biggest struggles are shared, and these things that I feel are normalized by you guys. You know, 6 and 7 are abstract, but it's really just getting into a position of humility to ask that these things that have maybe served us but not so well get removed, and then it's really just going back out into the world and trying to clear up the wreckage of our past, you know, learning what it means to be a man, like to look someone in the eyes and not hate myself. And then it's like the maintenance steps, you know, and to me it's just like keeping current, making sure people know what's going on in my life, admitting when I'm wrong, which is not easy for me to do. Growing towards some kind of just growing, I guess. I mean, I'd say growing towards God, but I mean, it's just growing in general, expanding my mind and, you know, trying to give this back as best I can. And I guess I'll start wrapping it up, or I'll wrap up with this. Like to me, like the craziest thing about AA is that you're guaranteed a spiritual awakening. It's not a potential, it's a guarantee. You know, it says, having had a spiritual awakening is the result of these steps. It doesn't say, like, you might have a spiritual awakening. Like you're guaranteed a spiritual awakening. Like, I know people, like, that aren't in AA that, like, pay thousands of dollars to do, like, transcendental meditation or these, like, you know, consults with, like, Ayurvedic healers and, you know, these 10-day Vipassana silent retreats. And they're still just miserable people. And, like, I've been able to wrest some satisfaction out of life. And, I want to end there, but I want to, like, I kind of want to say this, but it's not for sympathy. It's like I talked about this, like, selfish person who couldn't show up for his family. Like, I literally was told, like, your grandmother is going to die. Can you come say goodbye to her? No. And I said, no, like, I'm busy. Actually, it was worse than that. I told my mom, it was my mom's mom, and they were very close. I said, you know, Mom, I said, my last memory of Grammy is so important to me that I really don't want it to be sullied by seeing her in a hospital bed. The last time I saw my grandmother alive, I was, like, so high on cocaine. And I had this, like, just, like, horror of a girl with me that was just, like, trash. Like, it was so bad. But that's the truth, you know? Like, so on January 22nd of this year, my big brother died. And I got a call from the LAPD at 11:30 at night that my brother was dead. Yeah. And I got to call my parents and tell them, hey, your son is dead. And I got to show up for my family in a way that I never have before. I got to help plan his memorial and funeral, and I got to speak at them. And I'm not saying that for points. I'm trying to say that, like, it's a 180-degree turn that I can only attribute to AA, because this is where I learned how to do that. And in this really, like, fucked up way, there's a sense of, like, things being righted in that, like, I did show up and I didn't cower or run in fear. And I didn't get high, you know, like I thought about getting loaded because I was in a lot of pain, but I just, like, I think that what I've taken away, like God willing, on July 25th, I'll have 12 years sober. And, I'm not there yet. Let's not get, but, like, what I've taken away is, like, in the 4th step, it says that we'll be able to match calamity with serenity. And I think I had, like, an experience of that idea. And I'm not saying that I haven't hurt and that I'm not, like, a little bitch baby that cries every once in a while. Like, it happened the other day at work. Like, because it's a trip when someone dies. Like, you can't like I remembered a story, like this crazy story from like junior high with my bro, but I can't remember the ending. Like I remember like the fight, but I don't remember how it ended. And it was like the funniest story too, like, you know. So it's like, I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's like easy. Like, it's just like, so my sponsor is this like 75-year-old just like AA dork that's got like 36 or 37 years. And he always says that, you know, there's this expression that God won't give us more than, like, God will never give me more than I can handle. And I say that's a load of shit. God will always give us more than I can. God will give me way more than I can handle, but it's not more than we can handle. Like, that's what I've learned in the last 6 months, because like, I've experienced like love that I haven't always been able to receive, but I've experienced unconditional love and support from the rooms, and people who can carry me when I can't carry myself, and who can show up without me asking them to, you know. And that's what I found here, like, and I think late night embodies that, because I see a sense of fellowship in this room that is not present in other rooms. And you know, like, I know my brother felt this was one of the only places he could really be himself, and, you know, get in fights and spit on people, and you know, but I think it's important not to lose sight of that, you know, like, because sometimes, like, all we have is each other, and you know, they talk about unity, service, and recovery, and like, without the unity, like, the triangle can't exist. I don't even know what shape. It'd be like a V, which doesn't work. It's not even a shape. It's like a
V for vendetta.
So
V for vagina. Yeah.
Which is a bad thing. Dirty.
So yeah, you know, Chuckles, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to speak with you guys, and I guess that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Woo! Let's take our street Chris again. Yeah! Woo! Jocelyn's gonna read the 12 traditions, and then we can go smoke out in the street and be quiet because the neighbors will whine. Like, what would you say, bitch? Like little baby bitches.
Oh, bitch babies. You drinking coffee, buddy?
We have sleeping neighbors everywhere.
Well, I gotta leave at 1, dude. I got a wedding at 8 a.m.
Holy shit.
Well, it's alright.
What kind of bullshit's that?
Dude,
8 a.m. wedding? That's mean.
I'm in the wedding. I have to, the wedding's at 10.
Start getting prepared.
I have to
and stuff.
be there at 8.
Chuckles, are you gonna make
So
some
they have to
more
get you all
coffee?
dressed up. Yeah. Do you want to make it?
I don't know how to
Oh,
do
okay. I'll make some. You can go. I mean, I don't want you to go, but you can go sooner if you need to go to bed. All right.
That's what time the meeting's over, right?
Yeah. We stay later.
Oh, okay. I think 4. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Drop me at the process.
Thank you.
I went to this 10-day Vipassana retreat.
I mean, I'm sure it helped.
Actually, no, I did it when I was really young, like pre-hard drugs and alcohol. It was like an early life experience.
Was it beneficial?
It was really, really cool. It was really cool. I did drugs for the first time later that year.
I guess it helped. No, what it is I meet all these people that are looking at these things like panacea. Like, if I do this, then I will be better. I will be well, you know. And it's like,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Dude, you okay?
Buddy, let's go outside. Hey, thanks, Jesse, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. What's your name?
I'm Dylan.
Dylan.
Are you gonna marinate the duck?
You have to kill it first to cook it.
Oh, I want
While it's alive.
She's ambitious, man. I think somebody's gonna push
They
out.
can't be scared.
You have a smoker?
Does it taste like
Yeah,
you
I got a smoker.
gotta be scared and snap his neck.
Well, they're gonna take care
Oh, I've had too much processed food.
Yeah, as long as she says it's
like all I've had.
No,
is
you don't
hot
have to
dogs.
have it.
No, I understand. But it's like, it's not sitting present.
Oh, I see.
If he approves, obviously.
Oh, that's not the speaker.
Michelle!
Oh no, we just break time and then they're sharing with your mom.
Did you read his dad's books?
Technically one, but we often
Dude, Burroughs is his dad. That other,
More newcomers.
that's his dad.
Books.
You're talking about
Books.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna check his phone first, and then I'll turn it to
His Chris, right?
No. But and then I'll.
Awesome.
I was gonna get it CDs this week, so I'll burn it.
Oh, you're gonna burn a CD?
yeah.
Oh, right on.
Do another form, but that's what I do, old-fashioned CD.
So like you'd have it like next week.
Yeah.
Awesome.